From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 8th, 2018. Rocket sirens blared across southern Israel, sending residents into bomb shelters this evening. The IDF said 36 rockets had been fired at Israel so far today as of the time of this report. 4 were intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defense battery. At least 2 landed in the southern Israeli town of Sderot, causing damage to a number of vehicles, and up to 6 Israelis sustained light injuries, some having been hit by shrapnel or glass. Others were treated for shock. Other rockets landed in open areas. Israeli aircraft conducted airstrikes in Gaza in response to the rocket barrage. The alert siren sounded just hours after terror group Hamas warned of revenge for the killing of 2 of its members. Earlier today, 2 Hamas snipers opened fire at IDF soldiers near the Gaza border. No soldiers were injured. In response, an IDF tank fired at the post from which the fire came, killing the 2 terrorists. Hamas vowed revenge and evacuated their posts along the Gaza fence, a precaution the terror group is known to take before carrying out attacks against Israel. Several hours later, Hamas terrorists fired shots at civilians who were working on the construction of an underground barrier along the Gaza fence. Shots hit and damaged an engineering vehicle. No injuries were reported. The IDF responded to that incident with tank fire at the Hamas position. The IDF said it had also raised the alert level and closed several roads in the Gaza border area out of concern that Hamas terrorists might try and shoot at Israeli cars. The IDF stated it is working to ensure the safety of the residents of the area and will not allow harm to come to civilians or IDF soldiers. The army is prepared for a variety of scenarios. Meanwhile, reports of a possible ceasefire with Gaza continue. Turkish media reports a Hamas official told them that talks mediated by the United Nations and Egypt are in their advanced stages. The deal, the official said, will include the permanent opening of the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt, the establishment of sea and air terminals in the Sinai to help goods enter Gaza. The official is also cited as saying the deal would likely include a 5-year ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, with an end to the launching of incendiary devices from Gaza into southern Israel, and the return of the remains of the 2 IDF soldiers and the 2 Israeli civilians being held by Hamas in Gaza, though this will likely be conditioned on Israel releasing Palestinian security prisoners who are serving time in Israeli jails. A Hamas delegation is reportedly heading back to Cairo tomorrow. And the devastation of the incendiary devices launched from Gaza at southern Israel can be seen at the United Nations. An exhibit titled "The Effects of Arson Kites on the South of Israel" calls attention to the thousands of acres of fields and forests destroyed by the kites and balloons, with 9 photos by 9 Israeli photographers. The exhibit was organized by Israel's mission to the UN. It is on display until Friday. Israeli filmmaker Moshe Mizrahi has died. Mizrahi is the only Israeli director of an Academy Award-winning film, the 1977 Best Foreign Language film at the Oscars, Madame Rosa, which was filmed in France and starred Simone Signoret. Mizrahi died in Tel Aviv at the age of 86. Poland has acquired an archive that shows rescue efforts by Polish diplomats that helped get Jews out of Europe. The Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum said it negotiated together with Poland's Culture Ministry with the private owner in Israel of the ASA archive. It is one of the largest collections documenting the rescue operations of Polish diplomats based in Switzerland, who issued fake passports that saved about 330 people. The statement said the archive provides irrefutable proof that Poles, the Polish state, and its representatives systemically and institutionally were involved in saving Jews during World War II. The American Jewish Committee, together with the Greater Washington Urban League, is calling on political and religious leaders to reject the anti-Semitism and racism of the white nationalists who plan to march in the Unite the Right rally coming up this Sunday in Lafayette Park. AJC Washington, D.C. Regional Director Alan Ronkin and President and CEO of the Greater Washington Urban League, George Lambert Jr., said bringing such public hatred to our nation's capital near the White House challenges all people of goodwill to condemn, in the strongest possible terms, the rally organizers. They said we will never be silent in the face of this kind of odious rhetoric in our country. Well, the IDF made history today, appointing its first female pilot to lead a flight squadron. Major G, as she is referred to for security reasons, will command the 122nd Squadron, also known as the Nachshon Squadron, in Israel's Air Force, which takes part in covert aerial operations, sometimes thousands of miles away from Israel. Major G will also be promoted to the rank of lieutenant colonel. She called the landmark appointment a great privilege alongside a great responsibility, saying the real work is still ahead. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, August the 8th. At 7 o'clock, Israeli Consul General in New York, Dani Dayan, discusses Israel's democratic progressivism from students supporting Israel at Columbia. At 8, from the annual Israeli-American Council Conference, conversations with Ron Dermer, Naftali Bennett, Ron Persor, and Dennis Ross. At 9 o'clock tonight, Mark Golub sits down with author Francine Klagsburn, who talks about her biography, Lioness, Golda Meir, and the Nation of Israel. And at 10, remarks from culinary journalist, food critic, and television personality Gil Chovav at NYU's Taub Center for Israel Studies. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 8th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.